Welcome back to HallyuTalk. This is the channel where we go deeper than the headlines on BTS, K-pop, and the culture that surrounds them. And tonight, I want to talk about a box. Specifically, the box the music industry tried to put BTS in, and what happened when BTS didn't fit. Here is a question the music industry has never been able to answer cleanly. What is BTS? Not who, not where they're from, not what language they sing in. What are they musically, culturally, commercially? Because the industry has been trying to answer that question for over a decade. And every time they do, they contradict themselves. The American Music Awards placed BTS in their main pop category, favorite pop duo or group, competing directly with Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran. Then in the same year, the same ceremony created a brand new category, favorite K-pop artist, and placed BTS in that one too. Two boxes, one night, one group. The Grammy Awards nominated BTS in Best Pop Duo or Group Performance 3 consecutive years, the longest streak in that category since it was created in 2011. But never Album of the Year, never Record of the Year, never the categories where the biggest names in pop are allowed to compete. So which is it? Are BTS a pop group or a K-pop group? Are they global or are they a niche? Are they competing with Taylor Swift? Or do they belong in a separate category entirely? Tonight, we follow the evidence. And the evidence tells a story the industry doesn't want to say out loud. Let's start with the only place in the music industry where opinions don't matter, the charts. In October 2020, BTS released Life Goes On, a song sung predominantly in Korean. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. That specific achievement, a non-English song debuting directly at #1, had never happened before in the chart's 62-year history. Gangnam Style couldn't do it, peaked at #2. Despacito reached #1, but it climbed there over weeks, not debuted. Macarena spent 14 weeks at #1, but it did not enter the chart at the top. BTS did what none of them could. A song sung predominantly in Korean, debuting at #1. In America, in 2020. Now consider what else the charts show. BTS has placed 39 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. 7 of those reached #1, the most Hot 100 #1s for any duo or group in chart history. They achieved 3 #1s in 3 months in 2020. A pace Billboard reported was faster than any act since the Beatles in 1964. Their 2026 album ARIRANG sold 641,000 equivalent album units in its first week, the largest opening week ever recorded for a duo or group in Billboard 200 history. That same week, BTS became the first act ever to claim the entire top 10 simultaneously on the Billboard Global XL US chart. Every one of those records was set on the same charts where Taylor Swift, Drake, Beyoncé, and Ed Sheeran compete. Not a K-pop chart, not a separate category, not a different rule book. The same charts, the same rules, the same competition. The charts have always known exactly what BTS is. The award shows that's where things get complicated. Here is the contradiction no one has put on record clearly enough. The Grammy Awards nominated BTS in Best Pop Duo or Group Performance 3 consecutive years, 2021, 2022, and 2023. They are the only act in the history of that category to achieve 3 consecutive nominations since the category was restructured in 2011. More consecutive nominations than Maroon 5. More than Florence and the Machine. More than the Chainsmokers. And in 2023, BTS received 3 Grammy nominations in a single year. Best Pop Duo or Group Performance for My Universe with Coldplay. Best Music Video for Yet to Come. Album of the Year as featured artists on Coldplay's Music of the Spheres. Yet to Come and My Universe became the first songs containing Korean lyrics ever nominated at the Grammy Awards. In any category. The Recording Academy, the institution that decides what pop music is, placed BTS in the global pop category. 3 years in a row. Then they never won. And after 2023, the nominations stopped entirely. The institution moved on. The charts did not. Meanwhile, the American Music Awards did something that deserves more scrutiny than it received. In 2022, the AMAs introduced a brand new category, Favorite K-pop Artist. For the first time in the ceremony's history, Korean music had its own dedicated award. BTS was nominated in it. They were also nominated in Favorite Pop Duo or Group, the main category, the same night. Think carefully about what that means. The same award show on the same night decided that BTS was simultaneously a global pop group worthy of competing with the biggest Western acts, and a K-pop act worthy of their own separate, newly created category. Not one or the other, both, at once. That is not a definition. That is an industry that has encountered something it doesn't have language for, and responded by building 2 boxes instead of 1. Here's the thing about the "Is BTS K-pop?" debate. Most people having it have never actually listened to what BTS themselves said. In May 2021, Rolling Stone sat down with BTS for one of the most candid interviews the group has ever given. The interviewer, Brian Hyatt, asked the question directly. "I know that many fans don't see BTS as part of K-pop, and you yourselves have said that BTS is the genre. How do you see it?" RM's answer was careful and important. "That's a very important debate," he said, "because what they call K-pop, that genre is expanding very fast." He pointed out that K-pop now has groups with no Korean members at all. Performers from Europe, India, China, doing the K-pop format without any Korean identity behind it. Meanwhile, BTS, 7 Korean men, released Dynamite entirely in English. Somebody could say that K-pop is for Koreans who sing a Korean song, RM said. But what about Dynamite? We sing the song in English. But we're all Koreans, so somebody may say it's a K-pop song. Or they may say it's just a pop song, because it's in English. Then Suga said something that cuts even deeper. It's less and less meaningful to divide music into genres now. That is not a group rejecting where they came from. That is a group watching the categories themselves dissolve in real time and recognizing that they are one of the reasons why. This debate is not semantic. The label matters, because labels determine where you're placed, who you're compared to, and what you're permitted to win. When BTS is placed in the K-pop category, they win the K-pop category. When BTS is placed in the global pop category alongside Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, they receive nominations but the wins go elsewhere. And when the Grammy Awards stopped nominating them after 2023, BTS did not respond by chasing a different strategy to win institutional validation. They responded by continuing to break records on the charts that never needed a second opinion. ARIRANG debuted at number 1 globally. Swim became their 7th Hot 100 number 1, the most for any duo or group. Their vinyl sales set a record not broken since Luminate began electronically tracking in 1991. The charts said, "This is a global pop phenomenon." The institution said, "We're not sure where to put you." That gap between what the numbers say and what the industry recognizes is the whole story. Here is a historical parallel almost no one talks about in this context. In 1964, the Beatles arrived in America. The American music industry didn't have a category for a British group playing American-style rock and roll but clearly not being American. They didn't create a British invasion category at the Grammys. They simply let the charts decide. And the charts decided the Beatles were the biggest act in the world. Billboard directly compared BTS's 2020 chart pace to the Beatles in 1964. 3 number ones in 3 months. A speed no act had matched in 56 years. The charts made the same statement in 2020 that they made in 1964. The institutions in both cases were still catching up. So is BTS K-pop? Yes, and that answer should make every Korean proud. BTS debuted in 2013 under a small Korean entertainment company. They trained in the K-pop system. They released through the K-pop industry. Their roots are Korean. Their language, their culture, their identity, their formation. They have never denied that. They have never tried to erase it. But are they only K-pop? The Billboard Hot 100 says no. The Grammy nomination committee said no 3 consecutive years, when they placed them in the global pop category. The 90 million fans across 195 countries say no. The FIFA World Cup final stage, the biggest musical platform in the history of sport, says no. And RM said it most precisely of all. The categories are expanding, the definitions are dissolving, and BTS is one of the forces dissolving them. The music industry built a box called K-pop. BTS got too big for the box. So the industry built a second box and placed them in that one too. But you cannot be simultaneously nominated in the global pop category and the K-pop category and still be contained by either one. What BTS actually is something the music industry does not have a clean word for yet. A group that is too Korean for the Western mainstream to fully claim. Too global for the K-pop label to fully contain. Too big for any single category to hold without contradicting itself. RM called it, BTS is the genre. After the records, the contradictions, the nominations that stopped, the charts that didn't. I think he's right. And I think the industry knows it too. They just haven't figured out what box to build next. If you've ever tried to explain BTS to someone who doesn't listen to K-pop, share this video with them. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think BTS is K-pop, pop, or something the industry hasn't named yet? Subscribe to HallyuTalk for more documentary-style analysis of BTS and global fan culture every week. Borhi.